Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Manuela Peralta. I am a senior implementation specialist here at ClassWallet. And joining me, we have Angelica Peck, my colleague at ClassWallet, and also Emmy Henley from the Reform Alliance. Um, to this webinar is to go over the Philanthropic Investment for Arkansas Kids program and how you'll receive your funds and how you'll be able to use those funds in the ClassWallet platform. Brief agenda as to what we'll go over today. We'll go over the overview and eligibility for the program, how you'll be able to access your ClassWallet account, how to view and accept the parent agreement and acknowledgement, the way you'll have in your ClassWallet account to use your funds, and a couple other pieces of important information. This webinar is recorded and will be posted on the Reform Alliance's website, so be on the lookout for that. And then also, if you do have any questions as we're going through the presentation, please feel free to post those on the Q&A box, either at the top or bottom of your screen, depending on your settings. We'll address those questions as I go through the presentation, and then at the end, we'll also have time allotted for to answer those questions live. Okay. So the Philanthropic Investment for Arkansas Kids program, also abbreviated as PIAK, we'll go over an overview of what the PIAK program is. So the funding amount for this program is determined yearly, and the average scholarship amounts per the scholarship granting organization, also known as an SGO, cannot exceed 80% of the Arkansas's foundation founding amount, which is $6,200 for students in grades kindergarten through 8th grade, and 90% of the amount, which is $6,900 for high school students in the school year 2025-2026. And then should your tuition in your private school be less than the grant amount, you will only receive up to the cost of your tuition. You will not receive more than your tuition amount. And funds will be distributed on a quarterly basis to all approved students starting this week. Okay. So it's just some key dates for you to keep in mind. So we will be distributing quarter 1 funds for all those students whose schools have confirmed the tuition amount this week, and we'll go over what you can expect once your account has been funded. Okay. And then private schools are required to share an invoice for those quarterly tuition amounts to you as the approved family. And then those invoices will need to be uploaded in ClassWallet, and so that you can go ahead and issue a payment to the school using your PIAK funds. And these are just some key dates for you to keep in mind. So by August 14th, you should have your first quarter tuition invoice already uploaded to your ClassWallet account so that the school can receive payment. Okay. So accessing your ClassWallet account. So once your account has been funded, you will receive a ClassWallet welcome email. This ClassWallet welcome email will look very similar to this snippet here to the right. The welcome email will have instructions on how to access your account. It'll have instructions on how to accept the affidavit, how you can use your funds, and you'll see a lot of the information that's shared during this webinar can also be found on this welcome email. So it is a great resource for you to start or to keep handy just in case you ever need to reference back to some important information. Okay. So after you receive this welcome email, you will be able to go ahead and verify your ClassWallet account. The way that you'll do this is by going to app.classwallet.com and clicking on the first time login button. That will then prompt you over to a screen that's going to ask you to enter your email address. Your email address should be the same one that you use during your application, and it's the same email address that you received your welcome email to. And also, your email address should be entered in all lowercase letters. Once you enter your email address, you'll click the I'm not a robot button and then select verify email address. We do understand that there might be students that are participating both in the Education Freedom Account program as well as the PIAK program. If you do fall under this scenario and you completed both your EFA application and your PIAK application with the same email address, you will not have to complete the first time login process. You can simply just log in with your EFA credentials, the ones that you originally created, and then you'll be able to toggle from your PIAK account to your EFA account that way. So you won't be required to do the first time login process. That is only for those that are participating also in the EFA program. If you're just participating in PIAK, then you will have to go through this first time login process. So after you enter your email address and verify, click the verify email address button. That is going to trigger an email to be sent to you from info@classwallet.com. And this email basically just serves as a verification email to confirm that the email address you entered is indeed yours. In that email, you'll click where it says click to log in, and then you'll see a screen where you can create your password and then just re-enter your password for confirmation. And then once you have done that, you'll be able to log into your ClassWallet account. Okay. We do highly recommend that you save or whitelist info@classwallet.com as a safe sender. There are system generated emails that are sent out. So we don't want you guys to miss those. So just make sure that you save info@classwallet.com as a safe sender. And then once you've already created your password, you can simply go to app.classwallet.com, enter your email address in all lowercase letters, and enter the password you just created. And then you can log in. Okay. Once you log in, you'll see your home screen. On the top right corner, you'll see your student's name. You'll also see if you are a family that has multiple students that are approved for the PIAK program, you'll see that one ClassWallet account has been created for each approved student. Okay, so if you do fall under this scenario, or if you fall under the scenario where you are participating in PIAK and the EFA program, then this is how you would toggle from one account to the other. So you'll go to where it says welcome, and then your student's name will populate there. You'll click on the little drop down arrow. You'll see a menu pop up. One of the options there should be switch to user, and then you'll see your additional students listed here. Okay. And then you can just select which student it is that you are either wanting to submit a transaction for or wanting to see reports for. So it is important to note each student does have their own unique ClassWallet account and they're just toggled together. Okay. So what your ClassWallet homepage will look like. So it'll look very similar to this image here to the right, and you'll see what we call different tiles. Okay. So these tiles, we'll start here from the top left. First one being the balance tile. This is where you'll be able to see your students' available balance and any applicable deadlines or the affidavit if you do need to accept it, which we'll go over in just a moment. Moving on here to the right, you'll see the direct pay tile or the pay vendor tile. This is where you'll actually be able to submit payments to your school and where you'll be able to upload that invoice that they provide. You'll also see the reports tile where you can just see some personal reporting like your funds received, your personal transactions report to view any of your order history. You also see the support tile. This is where you'll be able to find the link to our YouTube channel, our link to our knowledge base, and the different ways that you have available to contact our customer support team. And then lastly, you have your account settings tile where you'll be able to just view basic information in your ClassWallet account. Okay. So viewing and accepting the parent agreement and acknowledgement. Okay. So PIAK participants must view and accept the affidavit in order to have access to your funds. So you'll see once you receive the welcome email and you initially log into your PIAK ClassWallet account, you'll see your balance will be $0. This is intentional. You'll also see a button that says affidavit. You will be required to click on that button that says affidavit, and then you'll see a screen come up with what the affidavit language and text says. And basically, what the affidavit is, or what the agreement and acknowledgement is basically just you agreeing to the program guidelines, program rules, and just reminding you what those eligibility terms are to ensure that you remain compliant with the PIAC program. Yep. So once you click on the affidavit button and you read the text, you'll have three options. Okay. First option is to accept the affidavit. If you do accept, then you'll see your balance immediately refresh into what that first quarterly disbursement was. You'll have the option to skip for now. If you do skip, then your balance will remain as $0 on your student's account, but you will have the option to review the affidavit at a later time. And then um, if you reject the affidavit, or if you know that you are no longer eligible or that you won't be able to comply with those guidelines, then you can reject the affidavit. If you do reject it, your balance on your student's account will remain as $0. Okay? And if you accidentally reject it, then you can contact our customer support team and we will be able to reset it on the back end. Okay? So once you've accepted the affidavit, you'll actually be able to use your PIAC funds, and we'll go over how you'll be able to use it. Okay? So currently, the only way that you can use your funds in ClassWallet for the PIAC program is to issue a direct payment to your approved school. Okay. And that will be done through the direct pay tile. Okay. So once you have your invoice in hand that your school provided to you, you'll click on this pay button on your ClassWallet account. Okay. Once you click on that pay button, you will see all the schools that have registered their ClassWallet account. Okay. And to give you guys a little bit of context and just a background information as to what the school side of things is, or what the school side of things are, rather, schools are required to first apply to be a part of the program. There is an application out, I believe it's on the Reform Alliance's website, to go ahead and apply to become an eligible school. Once they are approved, this school receives an invitation to join the ClassWallet platform. The school must accept the invitation and complete the required registration steps in order for them to be visible to you during this part of the process. So it's very likely that maybe you don't see a school here, or your school here, and that will be because they haven't completed their part of the process. If that is the case, then I would encourage you to reach out to the school, let them know that they should have received a ClassWallet invitation, and to please complete the registration process. And they can reach out to our customer support team if they have any questions as to what that process looks like, and we'll be more than happy to walk them through it. And if not, um, then once they already complete their registration, you'll see them listed here. So once you get to this part of the process, it's going to ask you, who do you want to pay? You'll search for your school, or you just browse through the schools there. And once you find the school, you'll click on Select Vendor. Once you select a vendor, you'll be required to enter the payment amount. So how much of your PIAK funds are you going to pay to the school? I would say in most cases, if not all cases, it should be your full disbursement amount that you should be paying to your school. Yep. And then you'll also be required to upload the invoice that you received from your school. And then you'll just be required to review the information you entered. If everything looks okay, you can go ahead and submit your payment. Okay. That payment then goes over to the administrators over at the Reform Alliance to review the transaction. Okay. Some things that are usually checked is to make sure that the invoice aligns with, what the actual eligible expenses are for this program, and that the payment amount also aligns. So those are some things to keep in mind when you are issuing a payment to make sure that it gets approved so that the school can receive the funds in a timely manner. Okay. So what are those invoice guidelines that are needed to be included on the invoice that the school is required to provide you? So in this invoice, the school information, so like the school name should be included, as well as the student and parent's name, the date that the invoice was generated, the date of service, so whether this is for quarter one tuition, quarter two tuition, and so on, and then the fee breakdown. So does this include tuition? Does this include any book fees? Does it include um, any other fees that are eligible to be paid with PIAK funds? The invoice must also be uploaded in either a PDF, JPEG, or PNG file format. So if you would like to request your school to already provide you the invoice within this format, it'll make things a little bit easier for you when you're actually uploading it on your account. Okay. Schools, we did have a webinar with schools last week, and they have been made aware of what these invoice guidelines are. So there shouldn't be too many issues there, but if you would like just to reiterate or check that your invoice has all this information, that way you don't risk it being rejected. And some other important information, as part of you submitting a payment to a vendor, which in this case would be your school, you will be required to select an expense category. There's only one expense category for this program, and that is tuition and fees. So you'll just be required to select that category at the time of submitting your transaction. Okay. And every time that you do submit a transaction, you will receive a transaction confirmation email. Okay. And this is basically just letting you know, okay, we have received your transaction. And your payment to your school, it is now being routed over to the program administrators to review the payment submission. Yep. And then once the program administrators have either approved or rejected the transaction, you will see also an automated email be sent to you, letting you know whether your transaction has been approved or rejected. And then if it is rejected and any comments were left at the time of the rejection, you'll see those comments within this email that is sent to you. That way, if there's anything you need to correct, whether that's the payment amount you entered or whether that's the invoice you uploaded, you have clear instruction as to what needs to be changed so that you can go ahead and resubmit your transaction. So you also have access to viewing some personal reports on your students' accounts. So some of these reports include your funds received report. So you'll be able to see, the disbursement amounts on your student's account, and you'll likely see this on a quarterly basis. And then you'll also have your personal transactions report. This is basically just your order history for the PIAK program, and the status of those orders, whether it's, just submitted, whether it's been approved, or whether it's been rejected, or if you have canceled it. Okay. So some approval and rejection notes. As I mentioned, all purchases and transactions submitted will be routed over to the Reform Alliance for review, and any improper use of the funds could result in your account being closed. And then again, as I mentioned, upon your order being approved, you'll receive that confirmation email letting you know it's been approved. Not only do you receive a confirmation email, but the school will also receive a confirmation email letting them know that a payment has been made and has been approved for them. The school does not get notified when a payment is when you just submitted it or if it's rejected. They only get notified once it's been approved. And then they should receive the funds on their bank account within 2 to 10 business days of the payment being approved. And then again, if your payment is rejected, then you'll just receive that email notification letting you know why it's been rejected. And then any questions about the approvals or rejections should be directed back to the email listed in the confirmation emails. And then in addition to that email communication, you'll also find any rejection notes and comments in that personal transactions report. Yep. And then just again, some important notes and reminders to save info at classwallet.com as a safe sender so that you don't miss out on any important information. And then some general information about our security. Us here at ClassWallet, our number one priority is to ensure that the family's information is safe, as well as the private schools and all the vendors that we partner with. So we do have a dedicated security team whose sole, role and purpose is to ensure that ClassWallet's security protocols are being followed. And if you do have any questions or want more information as to the security protocols that ClassWallet has in place, we do have a dedicated knowledge base article on that you can view. Okay. And then some general, our ClassWallet support team is always here to assist you with any platform ClassWallet questions that you may have. This could include things like how to verify your account and do the first time login process, how to accept the affidavit, how to submit a transaction to your school. Those are all things our customer support team can assist you with. And you can contact us in a couple of different ways. So you can start a live chat directly through your ClassWallet account. You can email us at help@classwallet.com, or you can call us at the number listed here. Our hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time, and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Time. And then for any questions regarding eligibility or funding amounts or any program-specific policies, then you can view the Reform Alliance's website, or you can email info@thereformalliance.org. Okay, and that wraps up the actual training. I'll go back to this support slide just in case you want to jot down that information. And then I will also post this slide deck here on the chat just in case anyone wants to save that. It'll also be linked on the welcome email. Okay. Any questions? Feel free to put those either on the chat box, on the Q&A box, either at the top or bottom of your screen, and we'll address those. Yep. Yes, you'll get these slides via email. It'll be embedded within the welcome email. So once your account has been funded, you'll be able to access it on the Get Support section of the welcome email. Okay. Okay, someone's asking, how do we link EFA and PIAK together? You on your end, you don't have to do anything as long as you submitted your EFA application and your PIAK application with the same email address. If you submitted both applications and were approved for both programs using the same email address, then your accounts will be automatically toggled together once you receive the welcome email. If you did not, if you use separate or different email addresses, you will have to contact each program to go ahead and update the email address on your account. Okay, and then we can toggle it on our end. Okay. To sign the affidavit, yes, you will have to wait until your account has been funded in order to view and accept the affidavit. So once you receive the welcome email, that's the green light that your account has been funded. You'll then be able to accept it. Okay. You don't see any vendors on your account yet because your account hasn't been funded. Once your account has been funded, you'll see all the vendors and the schools in your ClassWallet account. So once you receive that welcome email, you'll find that you'll see all the vendors on your account. Yep. And that's normal to see them on your EFA account because your EFA account has most likely already been funded. That's why you see the schools there, but not on your PIAK account. Right? Someone's asking, when can we expect to see the welcome email? Okay, so there is a multi-layer process to this. First process, or first step of the process is to ensure your application has been approved. If you received a direct invitation to today's webinar, your application has been approved. So that is check mark number one. Check mark number two is to ensure that your school provides the tuition amounts to the Reform Alliance. So I know Emmy and her team have done outreach to all the approved schools to get what the tuition amount is, because that determines what your first quarterly distribution will be. So for all of those schools that already confirmed the tuition amount, you will go ahead and see that your account will be funded this week. So that's when you'll receive the welcome email. Okay. For this program, there is no reimbursement through the ClassWallet platform. So someone has asked, we have already paid for uniforms and cheer uniforms and other fees already. How do we get the money back? You won't be able to submit through reimbursement in ClassWallet. I don't know, Emmy, if there's anything that could be done or if this is just if
Yeah, so I can answer that. So uniforms and cheer uniforms we cannot cover on our side. This is only for private school tuition and fees. So if you've already paid the fees, unless the school requires you to pay them out of pocket, then if this award amount covers those, then they can reimburse you through the school. But otherwise, that's the only way that it can go through.
Thank you, Emmy. Okay. And again, your account will be funded this week as long as your school has confirmed the tuition amount. Okay, and yeah, I think Emmy answered this. So someone's asking, confirming these funds are for tuition and fees only. Yes, that is correct. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, Emmy, is there anything you would like to add or say before we close off?
No, I would just say I'm excited about working with all of you. I know that it's complicated switching to a new portal again in another program, but we are hoping that this makes it easier for everyone, especially those that are using both EFA and PIAK, which is the reason for the switch. So, um, like Manuela said, we are going to get those funded this week. I've been reaching out to your schools, so we are going to get those out as soon as we can. So if you need anything, please just reach out to us, and we are happy to help.
Awesome. Thank you, Emmy. And thank you everyone for joining us and for going for asking your questions. If there's anything that we were unable to answer, please feel free to reach out to our support team or to the Reform Alliance and we'll be happy to assist. Okay, and be on the lookout for that welcome email this week. Thank you everyone and have a great rest of your week.